All right, welcome in Cancers to your February 2025 reading. So we are moving along through 2025. Cancers, February energy here. We're still in winter in the north, the northern hemisphere. We got Valentine's Day this month, so got that love energy going on. Finally, Mars will come out of retrograde February 23rd. So that will be really great. That's kind of been an energy that's almost holding us back a bit. Feeling the weight kind of, it's like you want to move forward, but there's something just like, you're feeling that like resistant energy, like kind of walking through mud or something. So that should start to kind of release a bit. We'll still have a shadow period, so it doesn't just stop, you know, the energy doesn't just fully change the day a planet like goes direct again. So there'll still be that lingering effect, but things will lighten up. So, yeah, if you're new here, welcome in. Welcome in. So these are the, I do the monthly zodiac readings for each sign, and then I do weekly, just general collective readings for that week. So check those out. And these monthly zodiacs, I do kind of record them the month prior, and then I try and get those posted. Either I start posting them the week, kind of the last week before the month that they're for. So like for like February, this video, for example, depending on where you align in the kind of the list, because I always start, I record, the first video record for that month is going to be that sign that the sun is in their sign that month. For like February, it's Aquarius, right? It's their birthday month. So I start with Aquarius and then I move forward all the way, and then we'll end on Capricorn. So like for Capricorn and the signs like Sagittarius, Scorpio, those will come out later. So I try and get those posted the last week to, you know, before the first of the month. But I have been lingering where I'll post some the first week of the month. So just giving you a heads up there. And then the weeklies I'll post either Sunday or Monday. So let's see what's going on for Capricorns. I'll pull a couple oracle cards here. I always do that kind of to get just the general foundational energies for the month before we dive into the tarot. So for you Cancers, and again to clarify, these videos are for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus Cancers, not just Sun sign Cancers. So for you, whatever, Rising, Moon, or Venus, this would apply as well. So purification coming out with the sunflower. This is definitely, this is the first time this card has come out, but there's definitely a theme here in February around really purifying, cleaning out and this is like going deep into the layers of the onion of the self, which involves, you know, our emotional body, our energy body, our unconsciousness. So there's like a deep purification going on and openness. So definitely the sense of like needing to surrender to this process that's going on for you. It could be that for some of you, there's really been resistance and like, why am I going through this? And why is this happening again? And really like, you could also be being very reactive to the external world right now, especially if there's things that are really being brought up from the past, or triggers, or feeling like, oh my God, this is, you know, you're really hitting ahead. It could be with dynamics. Family is a big one right now. Like I know family dynamics are really being tested, because if there's any toxic dynamics, they're kind of being, again, pushed to the surface to try and purify this. And if it's something that, you know, people might think of, okay, well, this is for us to kind of get on better terms. Well, sometimes this is just for you personally. I mean, we can expect that everyone in our life, especially family, are going to learn the lesson and going to awaken and change. It's not going to happen for everyone. So part of this process is just for you individually to become aware of, hey, I'm stuck in this wheel with my family. I'm stuck in this wheel with this person. And do I want to keep riding this wheel with them? And that's part of the process, is you identifying like, how do you want to live your life? And it's almost like for some of these people, if you want to stay connected to them, you're just always going to be on their wheel, right? Of drama, of, they're always going to make you feel shitty, or it's always just going to make you very frustrated. So it's like opening up to a new path. And sometimes it is facing the fact like, maybe this relationship we have isn't going to be that. And potentially I might lose this connection. And there's that purification of processing that, which is grief, especially, it doesn't matter what kind of relationship it is. If it's changing to a point of there's that lack of connection, it's going to bring up more than likely grief within us. But look at that, ending on a high note with happiness and the 2 dolphins. I love that. So this is really happening to to clear out the stuff that's literally holding that energy, that whether it's grief, wounding, trauma, beliefs about life and ourselves are holding space. And when that's holding space, we can't bring in new stuff, especially if there's a hard-coded belief about something. We're not going to be able to manifest or bring something in that's not aligned with that belief. Even if that belief is really negative and that belief is really what's preventing you from overcoming things, or even allowing you to attract things that you really want. Happiness for one. So if you have this deep hard-coded belief of, I'm not worthy, I'm not a person, you really believe like, why would anyone want to love me? Or I have so much wrong with me, and I'm difficult, and will I ever find love? I mean, that's a belief that's really stuck within you that you need to reprogram or integrate and work with. The biggest thing I see with people, and myself and everyone, is that our trauma really, it's very unconscious. Even though we may think we've overcome the past or we're not there anymore, a lot of this purification involves, like, we have this energetic really wall up as a protection mechanism. And it's really blocking the heart space, for one. That's not allowing true happiness to come in. So this is what's, for you Cancers, especially being a water sign, which is around the emotional body. This is really key about really looking at your emotional body and integrating and becoming harmonized. And part of that harmonizing is accepting the bad and the good, and loving the bad as well as the good, and kind of learning to love yourself more. So let's get more with the tarot, see what else needs to come out here. So underneath we have the 7 of Cups. I feel like that card has been coming out a lot in the readings. 7 of Cups, 10 of Wands. So I do feel like, let me just keep going and then I'll say 3 of Cups. That's been coming out a lot. 4 of Wands, King of Wands, and maybe I'll stop there. So there's some confusion. You've kind of been in this confused place about your life or situation, confused about what's going to happen in the future. Like, how is this going to kind of unfold? Something's really confusing you. I do feel like, as far as like, when we really think of like, it could be anything in life. It could be a relationship, a work environment, a type of work you're doing, your home life. I almost see with the 4 of Wands and the 3 of Cups, this could be around just your connections or relationship, but like definitely feeling a bit like bogged down, I'm getting, meaning like these connections around you are really draining you, especially with the Ten of Wands, feeling a lot of baggage. And I almost sense that you're actually, a lot of the energy you're carrying is actually other people's energy and baggage, not your own. Something I often do is I often stop, especially if I'm like feeling really going through a lot or feeling a lot. I might stop and just kind of intuitively check in with myself and say, how much of this is mine? And you'll intuitively just, like, a percentage will come to you. Let's say, for example, I know one time I did it, it was like, well, 40% is yours. But that means, you know, and then saying, well, what is other people's energy? And it was like 60%. So that's a lot. I mean, when we're carrying mostly other people's energy and baggage, I mean, that's really holding us down. And I feel that's what this confusion is. It's like it's really bogging down your ability to really understand what your needs, what is it that I really want, right? And it's kind of been blocking you from achieving those things, or really more, again, emotionally feeling fulfilled. And this has been like a cycle of your life. This could have been going on your whole life, but I like the Ten of Wands. There's something about this really in February closing up, or around this time period. It's like this is happening, the purification is really happening because it's almost like a karmic cycle's closing up. So with that, also when we reach kind of that, you know, tarot goes from ace to 10. So when we start to reach the 10s, it means that something is kind of closing. I wouldn't be surprised if we see the World card in your reading too, but the Ten of Wands, it's kind of, when we start reaching the 10, it can kind of start to be a little confusing, because what's happening is there's change being initiated energetically first, and we're on the precipice of change because something like karmically we don't need to do anymore, or there's a cycle ending, or a pattern that we've been stuck in that's ending, or even this could be like really physical, like a relationship or work we're doing. So that can also create confusion, because it's like we're in this relationship that we've been in a long time, and this is just an example, but we're starting to feel, right? We're starting to feel, hey, this isn't working for me anymore, or I'm not aligning to this. And you're like, well, I've always tolerated this or been okay with this, but now all of a sudden I'm not. And that's where the confusion can start to set in. What's going on? Why am I feeling like this? But I really see this around connections. So we have, this is more around your personal life I'm picking up than work right now from what the cards I'm getting. There's something about like needing to, maybe you need more social connection in your life. Maybe you're feeling really, you know, confused and heavy because maybe you haven't been connecting with people, and especially connections that are really helpful, that light you up, that fill you up, that are supportive type relationships. And it's kind of what you're looking for here. You know, this could be, again, finding people that align with the type of, maybe it's where you want to live, or maybe what type of environment you want to be in, or people, just, again, that are just more aligned with your new belief systems. Like maybe if you're shifting out of a lack mentality, you want people around you that exhibit abundance and that believe in, you know, that there's an abundance of resources for everyone, and that includes money. So they're very, you know, maybe they, you know, again, are aligned with that more. And I definitely see with this King of Wands, there's someone connected to this. This could be you, but this could also be someone else I feel that potentially is coming in, that is, they're already where you want to be, Cancer. And so when you meet them, you're like, you really are like, whoa, like they're attractive, and like they pull you in. And maybe it's not necessarily a relationship, but it's because this person is kind of already exhibiting the life. Maybe they already like have built a really strong, abundant career for themselves. They're very confident. They, you know, they like to do amazing things that you've really been wanting to do. So I feel like there's potentially someone coming in more aligned with that. And for some of you, if you're looking for a relationship or a shift, that King of Wands could also refer to maybe someone from a relationship standpoint coming in as an opportunity here. All right, so yeah, 10 of Cups. Happiness, happiness. Knight of Pentacles. I do feel like this is like been a very slow go for you. Like, you know, it's like you had your eye on what this 10 of Cups is, whatever that means for you. But with that Knight of Pentacles, it's this slow going energy. It's been very plodding, and you've kind of been impatient or frustrated about, you know, why haven't I moved in my life? Like, why hasn't these things happened yet? Or by the time I was at this point in my life, I thought I would have A, B, or C, or just more in general. The Hierophant. This could also be wanting like a commitment or a marriage or a life like partner. And it just hasn't happened yet. And it's been, again, you just keep going forward. It's like that whole Dory from Little Nemo, like just keep swimming. Like she wants to get and find her parents and get home. And it's just like, even though it's taking forever and she's trying to get there, it's like, well, just take one step forward, just keep going, just focus on the moment. I kind of feel that energy here, even though you're on the path to your 10 of Cups and to realizing what you really want. It kind of just feels like, is this ever going to happen? 2 of Pentacles, definitely uncertainty about ever realizing your 10 of Cups. The Queen of Swords, and then the Page of Swords. I'm going to pull the next line. 7 of Wands. So definitely feeling always like you've been on this like uphill, or you've been kind of on this trek up a mountain for a long time. There's resistance there. It's almost the past leading up to where you're at has kind of always felt like I consistently am receiving resistance from the people around me, or even the relationships I'm in. It's like always like everyone's not on the same page energy, but so it kind of just feels like an uphill battle. Chariot, I love that. Because that's you, Cancer. It took me a minute. I knew, I'm like, wait, do I have the Cancer card? It was resonating within me, but I was like, I had this kind of short circuit. So Cancer, your cards here, Chariot, so you're on the right path. 2 of Swords. Okay, this is interesting. So you've been on this uphill battle, you've been going up the mountain, and then all of a sudden it's like the Chariot is like wants to pick you up. I'm seeing this like metaphor of like all of a sudden there's a chariot that pulls up. It's like, get on the chariot and I'll take you, you know, I'll take you there. You don't have to walk anymore. Right? And the chariot's going to obviously get you there faster. It's interesting I'm getting this metaphor because then all of a sudden it's like either you have this internal block where you're like, no, I need to do it my own way. I need to walk. Or it's like you don't trust the chariot. Like, I don't know where you came from, but I don't necessarily trust to get in to your chariot and trust that you're going to take me where I'm supposed to go. So it could be you have that inner block going on. It could be that you are trusting and you start to make some progress, or there's movement, but then all of a sudden it's like the chariot pulls up to this spot on the path, and like there's like this restriction in the way. There's like this whatever, like it could be a tree limb that's, you know, blocking the path, or there's literally someone standing there like in this card. And this is again an energetic metaphor, but there's this guy here not allowing you through. So all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, what's going on here? Like, I thought things were moving, and now all of a sudden it's like, and that could be that Mars retrograde energy. But I'm seeing this more in the future, so I do feel like there is some movement. So if something happens that where you're like, oh, okay, I'm starting to see things change and shift. There's faster movement. You're starting to see maybe things happening or feeling better, and then all of a sudden there's this like blip in the road that it almost makes you feel like, oh, this like PTSD of the past, like, oh, here it is again. Like, you know, I think things are happening, or I think this is happening, then all of a sudden it's like I get blocked. I don't want you to kind of sabotage yourself and really go into this place of, oh, like, it's okay to have caution, but I think in as far as this reading in February and moving forward, I would say it's okay to move forward with caution, but don't just let fear overtake you and make you stand still or stop you altogether and give up. So that's a message for you, Cancer, in the future for February and beyond, I think. Because I do feel progress coming. I do feel like some manifestations coming in. But that's interesting with the Two of Swords and the Chariot. It's almost like something kind of stops you for a minute there. But I think you'll be okay. Let's get a clarifier here for that. For the Two of Swords, Five of Wands. Okay, so there's some sort of conflict. So I feel like this is more how this plays out or manifests is tied to, it could be one person in your life or other people in your life, but other people could also be like, there's this essence of you feeling like all your connections right now, they're kind of tumultuous. There's challenges. People are fighting, or just like all of a sudden everyone is really in disagreement with each other about certain things in life, which I think kind of, again, shuts you down. And I think this is kind of another lesson on the wheel of being on other people's, we talked about like taking on other people's stuff. There's also this need to really protect yourself right now, because there's a lot of chaos going on within everyone, with the energies and just things happening. I think the external environment is going to be very chaotic. So I'm also getting this need to really stay focused on yourself. Don't let the external world get you pulled in. As a Cancer and water sign, you're very susceptible to more, right? You are an emotional sign. You're definitely more empathetic, more sensitive to things like that. And it's easier for you to really just like take on other people's the energy, and not even people around you, but stuff going on in, again, culturally, the global scape, just very external energy here. So I almost feel too, with the swords here, there's this guidance of needing to really be aware, have your boundaries, just really think of yourself right now and keeping yourself balanced and harmonized. And it could be that you need to really set your boundaries with people or say no. If you're a yes person, watching that type of pattern. For some of you, there could also be an opportunity here for like a conversation with somebody that you're connected to that could lead to a conflict. And it's almost like you have to be really discerning. Be more thoughtful about your approach. Respond instead of react. I always talk about that. But like, I do feel like you need to be very firm though with this person. Speak your truth, and don't allow them to get you too emotionally volatile. Because the Queen of Swords is great at that. She's great at like business meetings or like negotiations or planning, and keeping situations where we don't want necessarily emotions to come in and cause issues there, because I feel like there's an opportunity here for that. Yeah, I'm gonna see her. One for the Chariot, Six of Swords. Yeah, so definitely this is a metaphor, but I do feel like the universe is really kind of like you've been going at the path the most difficult way. It's been challenging. There's a bit of stubborn energy of like, well, I want to do it my way, or like, hey, I think that this is the right path. And you just like have stuck to it. But the universe is like, hey, let me take you to where you need to be, and I can get you there faster, quicker, easier. And it's going to create less resistance. And I think you need to surrender to that, however that manifests in your life. Obviously, it doesn't mean that there's actually going to be some divine being that just comes up on his chariot with his magic reindeer. But there's this essence of you're going to potentially have opportunities to do things easier, and maybe have people help you. You should accept that. Okay, if you're someone who doesn't like to accept help, this is another lesson for the month. There's a lot going on here, Cancer. It's almost like there's tons of guidance for you, which I think is great. You might want to watch this a few times just to take notes, because I feel like there's a couple. You should write down the themes and the guidance to kind of, noodle on it, help ingest it, and really feel into it and see how this, because you're going to resonate with it, right? I'm just going to get one for the Queen of Swords and the Page of Swords, Four of Cups. Yeah, it's almost like, again, this you have an easy way of like falling back into potentially like victim mentality as well. When you're faced with certain people of like, oh, poor me, this is how it always is. Am I ever going to get out of these patterns here? Am I always going to be alone in this? There's that essence there of like getting pulled in, and those are the cups. So like I said, be cautious in certain situations of not getting too emotionally pulled in or invested into something. When you're conversing with certain people, maybe it's a pattern where they just easily trigger you and you just immediately fly into either poor me, or like maybe you fall into, go into anger or rage, or maybe you fall into sadness. Like you immediately get really sad and cry or something like that. Just watch that this month, because I do feel like channeling that Queen of Swords energy and the Page of Swords of like just, another thing I'm getting is just be very careful about what you say. It's almost like picking your battles, like only say the pieces that are really important. Don't go into this like diarrhea of the mouth where you're just like blah blah, like again, sometimes water signs, they have a lot of feeling, and when they're trying to communicate what they're feeling, it can be a lot. So it's just like allowing yourself to be firm with maybe boundaries or expectations, or like, hey, this is what you did that hurt me, but again, don't be too overly emotional about it. There's this essence of protecting yourself right now. I am getting that. So a lot here. What's the Four of Wands, Three of Cups? Clarify, please. Knight of Cups. Yep. I do feel like for some of you, there's love coming in. There's an offer of love. There's like, again, you're starting a new path where things are going to like start to change, where if you have felt that in your life, like in relationships, it's always the same pattern. You always attract the same people. They always end the same. I do feel like that changes. And again, you're starting to attract people that, or maybe you have opportunity for social events, which I would say go to, that are going to open up new opportunities for connections. That can be love. It could be friendship. But definitely they're more aligned and very fulfilling for you. But there's definitely something that's kind of, you have to overcome in the process of that. All right, Cancers, I'll leave you with that. Yeah, enjoy your February. Happy Valentine's Day. We'll see what happens in the next month. But for now, enjoy, and I will see you in the next reading. Bye for now.